Welcome to episode number 78 of the Beyond Social Media show. Welcome to the new year, 2015. We start with our 78th episode for the first episode of the new year, and I want to wish everyone a happy new year. I hope everyone had wonderful holidays. I know I did. My name is David Erickson. I am your co-host. You can find me on Twitter at @DErickson. And my blog is e-strategyblog.com, and I'm with, of course, my co-host BL Ochman. BL you can find at What's Next on Twitter. Her blog is what'snextblog.com. She is CEO of Maximum-Plus.com, where you can hire her for all things Google Plus, and of course, BL writes for Ad Age as well. We have our format. It is the worst of the week. We talk about the best of the week. We talk about some shiny new objects we're enamored with. We wrap it up with some daily numbers, some stats you'll want to know. And BL always has the honors. BL, what was the worst of this past week, or past couple of weeks since we took a break?
Past couple of weeks, because there was some stuff that really shouldn't be overlooked. One of my favorites was the Play-Doh mistake. The Play-Doh unfortunately had an extruder or something tool that was included in their Sweet Shop Cake Mountain playset for children. And most unfortunately, it looks like a sex toy. It resembles a penis. So my favorite tweet about it was, I salute the designers who somehow managed to get this Play-Doh icing maker past the bosses. And then somebody said, did somebody already make a Dil-Do joke about the whole Play-Doh thing? Do I get the prize for being the 500th? And then there were pictures of it, and indeed it looks like a sex toy. And what were they thinking?
Yeah, when you hear about these things, you don't always pay attention to them right away because it's just sort of in the air, and okay, there's something with Play-Doh and Dil-Do, and I sort of roll my eyes typically when I hear about that because people get outraged fairly easily these days, but I saw the photo, and oh my God, how did I get that?
I mean, this woman put a picture on Twitter, and she said, "This is what my 3-year-old got," and it's pretty clear what it is.
How did that get past people? Like, come on, somebody's got to be saying no.
Somebody's got to be laughing, going, "Ha ha! Look what we did!" I mean, I wonder if they still work there. So, we all know that what happened this week in Paris is just a horror, but of course there was a tasteless brand reaction from a French fashion mail order company called Les Trois Suisses, and they changed their logo to Je suis, c'est Charlie. And of course there was an uproar because that was tasteless and stupid. And so today on Facebook they said, oh, we never really meant to upset anybody, and so they changed it to what everybody's got, Je suis Charlie. Someone has to tell you that that's tasteless. Someone has to tell you that that's a bad idea. I'm sorry, I just don't understand.
It happens all the time. It's stunning. I mean, it's really judgment, people.
Well, there's a lack of that, and there's a lack of common sense. I mean, that's all there is to it. There's a lack of common sense on the planet, and it shows up a lot in social media. So, what have you got, Dave?
What have I got? I have something down here. It's buried. I gotta scroll past everything. Here we go. So this happened 2 weeks ago, I think. Madonna ran into a bit of a social media storm. She has a new album coming out. It's going to be released in the spring. It's called Rebel Heart. The cover photo for the album features Madonna's face, and it's wrapped in a black cord that's wrapped across her face. Rebel Heart apparently is her term for an activist. And fans sent photoshopped images of historical and pop culture icons with faces wrapped in the black cords. There's like Elvis and other pop icons. She posted these to Facebook and Twitter, but the social storm began when she posted images that people sent in of Martin Luther King, Mandela, and Bob Marley. So, I mean, it doesn't take much to consider that using rope and black figures is probably not a good idea to post that stuff if you get it. People took offense naturally. There was a storm. Madonna responded with a rambling, grammatically challenged defense. Now, I have a lot of respect for Madonna as a marketer, as a musician. I think she's challenged a lot of our with her music and with her songs, a lot of our stereotype assumptions and everything over the years, so I don't think that she's racist. I think she didn't think about what she was posting when she posted it, but this response was classic because it's really poorly thought out. It was clearly on the spur of the moment, and she was responding defensively, but I'll read it. I'm sorry, I'm not comparing myself to anyone. I'm admiring and acknowledging their THERE rebel hearts. This is neither a crime nor an insult or racist! Exclamation point. I also did it with Michael Jackson, misspelled, and Frida Kahlo, lowercase, and Marilyn Monroe. Am I saying I am them? No, I'm saying they are rebel hearts too. And I didn't do it. My fans did, and I just reposted those photos. My fans aren't racist either. If they if they put me in the same category as those other people, thank you. I'm very flattered. I hope to live up to 100th of accomplish Madonna. You know, it was man. She took no time. She just obviously responded immediately and did not even put it through spell check or grammar check. So awkward and embarrassing all at the same time, and she uses a lot of exclamation points. Oh my God! The whole thing is her whole feed is replete with exclamation points.
Yeah, that was pretty dreadful to see Martin Luther King, and I mean, really, you just wonder, like, what are people thinking? I wonder that pretty much on a daily basis, I have to tell you the truth. So this, I'm sure, is controversial, but the NFL, as we all know, has its domestic violence issues. And what they've done now is they've joined the NoMore.org campaign, and they have done public service ads. If you watch a football game lately, you've almost certainly come across one commercial where current and former NFL stars are looking straight into the camera, and they take turns saying no more, but he's such a nice guy, no more, she was asking for it, no more, he just has a temper. And they're going to be shown during the playoffs when there'll be ginormous audiences, and they wouldn't confirm yet that they'll be run during the Super Bowl. And it's playing, them as PSAs, so they're not charging to run the spots during the games. And they said that they want no more goals to the organization. The director of it, Virginia Witt, says they want this to become, a breakthrough that is a unifying symbol like the AIDS ribbon. And it is in the other ads that they have. But frankly, I think this is lip service because the players involved are still playing, and they're just talking. They're just talking. There have been no consequences.
Yeah, I hear you, but I also, something good is coming out of it. They are going to get a nationwide audience, and there is no other reach than the Super Bowl. So
they didn't say they're going to be on the Super Bowl yet, but they are. They are there, and you have to give them something for that. But to me, it's just lip service until they make consequences besides a 2-game suspension for clocking your wife. It's all lip service. So anyway, that's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it.
Well, speaking of ads, this is not heavy. This is not serious like that, but it is an ad that people probably have seen because it's running in heavy rotation. McDonald's is running a new campaign called Archenemies.
Oh, we lost your
animated commercial that pairs arch enemies together. So it's the postman and the dog, Dorothy and the Wicked Witch, Donkey and Elephant, Knight and Dragon, Grumpy Cat. It ends with Grumpy Cat and Happy Meal. Okay, so they're pairing this. It's a very simple type of animation. It has a catchy tune with a chorus of "Love is Endless," and the format is a complete ripoff of Dumb Ways to Die. If you put the two side by side, you can see that they just sort of took Dumb Ways to Die animated theme and the catchy tune and put it together and you know, it's imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. It is a cute commercial. It kind of works, but the problem is McDonald's really hasn't innovated for years. People have changed their taste in food, and McDonald's had like 12 months of consecutive losing quarters. So they need to change their method of business, not change their commercials, really. They had bought Chipotle, steak and Chipotle back in the day and then divested themselves. If they continued down that road, they would have had a way of gaining their, increasing their revenue, but right now they're just sort of grasping at straws, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, I think they are really just ripping off that dumb ways to die idea. And then they also did this whole rebranding of Ronald McDonald, and they made him even creepier than he was before, and it's been like a major failure. They put like a blazer on him and changed his hair, and they made him really scary looking, and he's a failure. People don't want to see him. So maybe what they really need is a new agency, and they do that pretty regularly. They blame it on the agency rather than blaming it on their food or their strategy, or that happens a lot. So in the time that we were gone, this thing that appeared online, which is, we used to have a segment here called WTF. I would put this one in that. This is called Brands Saying Bae, B-A-E. It's a Twitter feed, and it now has, it's approaching 25,000 followers. And it has brands like McDonald's and Burger King. And what happened was that apparently the CEO of IHOP, he told of Taco Bell on an investment call in December. He said that the company is on Clique, and that's actually a mangling of the millennial teen term on fleek, which means on point. And so the next thing you know, this Twitter account pops up, and I'm not quite sure what BAE means, but brands are jumping out there to say that that's what they are, and there's all these complete, like McDonald's says, a BAE sculpt for your BAE, complete nonsense, and 25,000 followers. So go figure. Taco Bell is doing it, Tostitos is doing it, McDonald's. I don't know. That's a WTF for me. What's it for you, Dave?
Well, I'm not a teenager. I have no idea what BA means. I'm not afraid to admit it either. I think if you're going to use current or lingo that's specific to a particular audience, you gotta do it with a light touch if you're going to do it at all.
Well, they do. They have a light touch. I mean, it is funny, and but like what and why? Yeah. And I tried to look up BAE, and I couldn't find it, so maybe someone can tell us. And by the way, just a little housekeeping, we're still not able to get Comment Tracker to work in Chrome, so sorry we're not able to bring comments into the show right now, but we will take a look at the page and see what people have to say and try and respond. Does that bring us through the bad news? Can we go on to good news?
I think we can go on to good news, yeah.
Okay, well, there is quite a bit of that as well. So you got us Madonna. Let me find the good news. The good news is somewhere here, buried.
I'll start while you look for.
Why don't you do that?
I just came across this last night, so I didn't have a chance to go through it entirely, but it is the Cluetrain Manifesto has been updated. Doc Searles and David Weinberg are two of the authors of the original Cluetrain Manifesto. Have updated for what? How long? It's been more than a decade since it was originally published.
1999.
Cluetrain Manifesto, you need to, if you are doing online communications at all. It is really the founding document of social media. So they are basically issuing a clarion call to take back the net before it's too late from those who would want to impose fast lanes and it's an interesting read. I'm just going to pull out one particular section where they talk about apps to give you a taste of what they're talking about. So as far as mobile apps are concerned, this is what they say. Web pages are about connecting, apps are about control. We lose the commons we build together in an app-based world. Every new link makes the web richer. Every new app makes us users and not makers. Sure, apps offer a nice experience, but the web is about links and links that constantly reach out, connecting us without end. For lives and ideas, completion is death. Choose life. So it's something you have to pay attention to. These are very thoughtful people. They obviously, as I said, Cluetrain Manifesto, founding document of social media. I encourage everybody to read more. We'll put a link in it. I haven't got through the whole thing yet, but it is good food for thought about where we currently are in online communications.
It's a listicle, and it has some really extraordinary information in it. It's as much must read as the first one was, and I'm astounded every time I talk to somebody who has no idea what it is. So Cluetrain Manifesto is required reading if you're going to call yourself a marketer of any sort at any point in time, because it is the thing that defined the fact that you cannot speak as a corporation anymore. You have to speak as a human, and a lot of companies are still not getting that. So my good news here is fun. Greenpeace made a video with a GoPro in Glacier National Park, and they were trying to show the impact that the melting of the glaciers has on the environment. And all of a sudden this marmot, which is a very funny looking animal, toddled up and started to lick the camera. And so what they did was they superimposed these messages on the video. They said, "This marmot would like to give you a kiss for helping to save its home. And click here to protect this little guy's home from climate change." And, you know, the video doesn't say Greenpeace. You got to go and look at the description to find out. You wouldn't know who it came from unless you click through to the donation page, which there's a link to. And it puts the mission and not the organization on display. There weren't any Greenpeace employees or volunteers in there. It was just a beautiful landscape and this furry little creature who is the benefactor of the good work that this guy does. And Stephen Shattuck posted about it on Nonprofit Hub blog, and you really should watch the video. It's adorable, and this little creature is just the cutest thing you'll ever see. And, you know, GoPro, once again, is there.
Exactly. That's a great example of taking advantage of an opportunity that presents itself. So as I understand it, they had the GoPro up to do time-lapse video of the mountain range itself, not, you know, to capture this marmot, but the marmot happened to interrupt their well-laid plans, right? And, well, a cute little animal comes up and kisses your video, people are going to want to watch that. So let's put out that little piece and use it to further our mission. So really
very smart, really very smart. I mean, you couldn't not watch it because it was so adorable. So the other thing that I think is just mind-blowing is that the Girl Scouts, the Girl Scouts and their cookies have now gone not only digital but also gluten-free, and they have 2 gluten-free cookies, and they have this site, and it has instructions for sellers and buyers, and it teaches the 5 essential skills of Girl Scouts, including how to take credit cards for cookies, and it says on it, plus it's all easy, fun, safe, and super cool. And you can either, depending on your council and the baker that you have, you can either use the customizable cookie website, the digital order card, or a cool new mobile app. And you can do your digital cookie sales on it. And I'm excited. I'm in trouble that they have gluten-free cookies. I really am. And you can no longer avoid Girl Scout cookies. They're here. And it's just reminded me, like, I worked with a guy when when I was at Burson. He was one of the guys. There's one in every office who always had a bowl of candy on his desk. And everybody would find a reason to come by his office 5 or 10 times a day. I gained 10 pounds when I was there. And so one day you walk by and there was a sign on the desk and it said, "If you like my daddy's candy, you're going to love my Girl Scout cookies," and an order form.
I would say, McDonald's, take note. Here's an example of an organization that's innovating and changing with the changing times, right?
But they don't have any weed cookies yet. Maybe next year.
I suspect we'll be waiting a while for that.
What do you got, Dave?
So on New Year's Day, Allstate unleashed a campaign that was very, very well done, very clever. Their Mayhem guy, the guy in their commercials that you've seen all over the place, they did a TV blitz and a Twitter blitz with a hashtag called for Mayhem Sale. And this is a one-day campaign that featured Mayhem guy selling items he stole from watching people on social media oversharing that they were at the football game, so obviously not at home. So he broke into their house and took their belongings and put them up for sale. The Mayhem guy did, fictionally, of course. Allstate set up a website called mayhemsale.com, and people could actually buy the items that he allegedly stole, and they put them up on the website. And you could buy a flat screen TV for $60, Xbox One for $7, a washer and dryer for $80, and the car out of their garage for $200. Yeah, he's a burglar, right? He just wants to get rid of the stuff and make some money, so you could actually buy him. The servers crashed, of course, as people heard about this. I got this, my friend John Danzer, I got to give him a shout out, from Twin Cities Public Television, told me about this campaign. I didn't actually see it. He was trying over and over again to try and buy the flat screen TV and couldn't because there was so much load on the server. But really, really great idea to get across the point of their commercials. You can see the videos. I'll link to the videos on YouTube, but there's a bunch of videos that are related to this campaign as well. So
I love that campaign, I have to say. Another one that I love is WarbyParker. Every year they do a really clever annual report. And it's, you know, back in the beginning of my career, I used to write annual reports when those were printed. Remember printing? And so they do an online one every year, and it's always adorable, and it has all these wonderful illustrations. So this year they had an app where you could make your own, and it was based on 9 very unscientific questions, you know, that they asked you, and then they produce your annual report. And so I said that 2014 was really not a great year, so my annual report cover said Annus Horribilius, and it went and it went on, and it had like all these different predictions and things, and it even had like nicknames people might call you, and one of the nicknames that they suggested people might call me is Bacon. And I said, you know, I love that. I think I'm going to change my name to Bacon on Twitter. And so they went, Bacon, we're so happy to hear that. So we had this whole conversation about their report and my nickname, and they were paying attention, and it was fun, and you know, it's just so clever. And I mean, I wear WarbyParker glasses, and I think they're just a really phenomenal company. If you don't know who they are sort of the Tom Shoes of eyeglasses. They sell eyeglasses in single vision, including the prescription and the frames, for $99. And like Zappos, they'll send you 5 pair to try on at home, free shipping both ways, and if you like them, you send your prescription. And they've now opened some retail stores, and you could go into their retail stores. It's a fabulous company, and you know, they deserve to grow and do well. They say eyeglasses are the biggest ripoff on the planet. There is absolutely no excuse for a pair of glasses to cost $1,000. They are making a humongous profit selling them for $99. Oh boy.
And your annual report has a broken coffee cup with spilled coffee everywhere.
It's adorable. Anyway, if you haven't got more news, we go to apps.
Let's go to apps.
Okay, well, there's one that I've been using that I just love. I hope I pronounce it correctly. It's called Noisli, and a lot of people actually, studies prove that if you have some background noise, like if you're working in a coffee shop, or in my case, if I'm on the subway, that it helps you concentrate. And ambient background noise, or the buzz of conversation in public places, helps to fuel creativity. So this app can be either on your phone or online, and I use it as background sound. And you can choose, like I like to listen to the sound of the ocean and birds, and you can make white noise. You can there's a whole choice of things that you make. So you can have rain, you can have train whistles, you can have, and it also matches the background colors to the sounds if you want to keep that screen up somewhere where you can see it. And I just find that it really does, in fact, help me be productive.
Huh. I tried jazz or classical music, but I'll try this.
I listen to jazz as well, but music I want to listen to more than this. This I can use as background, and especially the sound of water running. I really like it. So, by the way, I just wanted to say that I am working on a compilation of our best apps of the last year, and I just didn't get through it because I've been really sick, as you may hear. But anyway, pardon?
And there are a lot of them.
There are a ton of them, yeah, and I've been going through them, so I'm part of the way through that list. So tell us what you found. You always found good ones.
Yeah, so this one, again, I have to give a shout-out to my friend John Danzer at TPT at Twin Cities Public Television, too, because he told me about this one. It's Riveted. Riveted is a plugin for Google Analytics. So if you don't know, you can add functionality to Google Analytics. People write plugins for Google Analytics like they write plugins for WordPress or other platforms. This does, so one thing that Google Analytics kind of sucks at is measuring how much time someone actually spends on a site. It's because of the way that Analytics measures time on site, they calculate the time difference between subsequent page views. So if somebody has a single page view, then that page view, however long the person was on that page, it counts for 0 seconds in Google Analytics. So this plugin tries to address that issue by firing off an event at regular intervals, whenever there's a user activity on a single page. So if somebody scrolls or clicks on a white space somewhere, you can set it to fire off anytime there's activity every 15 seconds or so, or something at whatever intervals you want. And then that data will go into Google Analytics so that you can get actual time on page data for single page visits. This is especially important to get attention data that is going to be increasingly important metric, especially for publishers who want to show advertisers that people are spending more time on site. Chartbeat is a service that does this type of thing, attention data, but they're way too expensive for a lot of people, and this is a free plugin. So it's
free. That's great. That's terrific. Well, there's one that I find horrifying. It's called Cicret, and it's in development, and I'm sure it's coming. And it's a bracelet that you wear, and it turns your skin into a tablet, touchscreen. And you can read your mail, you can answer your calls, take that, Dick Tracy. You can check the weather, and according to their fundraising page, you can do whatever you want on your arm. And I do hope that somebody makes this illegal before it's too late.
It's awesome. What's wrong with it?
It scares me. You know, I sometimes.
On your arm, right?
No, come on. Sometimes I turn off my email and I turn off my phone, and sometimes I am not available. I do not want to be available 24/7. I will not do that. So if it's on my arm, how am I going to avoid it? You know, I don't want one. I don't want anybody to have one.
That's pretty awesome. I can't wait to get one.
I know you will. Well, I hope you use that more than you did your Google Glass, Dave. Mr. Gadget Man. Have you gotten any new gadgets for Christmas?
That's sort of the nature of the beast when you're an early adopter. I'm sorry I missed what you said.
And have you gotten any new gadgets for Christmas?
I did. My girlfriend, awesome girlfriend, gave me iPad Air, so I can use GarageBand and record some songs on that. So I'm learning the software now. It's pretty sophisticated, actually. It doesn't look that way, but when you dig into it, it is pretty sophisticated. So it's pretty much just more software than song right now.
Oh, but that's a really cool present. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to send me one, that'd be fine too.
So I got one cool new thing to before we go on to the next section. Twitter is going to add native video uploads. So they are considering letting them autoplay like they do with in Facebook on scroll over. It would be a 60-second preview. Advertisers will be able to choose which 60 seconds of the video to preview. There will be no sound until you click, and then advertisers will get up to 10 minutes of video play, but us plebes who aren't advertising will only get 30 seconds for our video upload. So there you go.
When is that supposed to start, did they say?
There's no date attached to it, but it sounds soon.
Interesting development. I really am finding the videos on Facebook annoying more than anything else. I don't want them to play automatically. You know, I'm glad the sound is turned off, then you have to turn the sound on, but I'm sure the next thing will be that it isn't.
Yeah, well, they introduced it right. If they're going to add videos like that and having them autoplay, they made a very smart decision by not putting the sound on. So.
That's true. So I think that brings us to an update about what you've been so busy doing for a long time now.
Yep. So we are on iTunes now.
Yay!
We've got everything in place. You will now be able to get an audio version of this on iTunes. We're also on Stitcher if you use Stitcher. You can go to our page on iTunes by going to beyondsocialmediashow.com/iTunes, and it would really, really help out if you like the show. It would really help out if you leave a review for us on iTunes. Now, iTunes is a little messed up because they've got a web page version for your show when you create a podcast, but also there's a page within iTunes itself, and you can only leave a review by going into iTunes. You need to go into the software in order to read the review or to leave a review. So if you go to beyondsocialmediashow.com/iTunes, you get to our webpage. From there, there's a blue button underneath our cover art that says View in iTunes. Click on that blue button that says View in iTunes, and it'll take you to our iTunes page within the software, and from there you can leave a review. Please do. It would help a great deal. There's a period of time, we're not there yet, we're not on it yet, but there's a period of time when new shows show up on the new and noteworthy section of iTunes, and if you have reviews, that really helps people. It helps people decide to start subscribing to the show. So in order to help us build that audience, we greatly appreciate it if you let us know, give us reviews, and tell us what you think of the show.
That would really be helpful. And you know, we're seeing people who are like offering you money to do that. We're not going to do that, but we do hope that you will take a look. And yeah, they have made it a little complicated. We'll have instructions exactly what the steps are. It sounds more complicated than it really is, and it would be really helpful if you could do that for us.
Yeah, and if you use Stitcher, go to beyondsocialmediashow.com/Stitcher, and that'll take you to our Stitcher page, from which you can actually leave a review directly. So,
so that brings us to the daily numbers, which Dave brings us every week.
That's right. So I've got obstacles to social media marketing success. And this is marketers listing what are their top obstacles. So I'll just list them and give you my take on them. Lack of in-house resources/skills, 43% of marketers said that. Inability to measure ROI, 42% said that. Lack of an effective strategy, 39% said that. Lack of compelling content, 34%. Lack of integration across marketing, 31%. Inadequate budget, 28%. Lack of consensus on importance, 23%. Inability to become mobile aware, 6%. I think the problem is that people too often think of social of just the channel itself and not what social gives you for your overall marketing efforts, right? So people focus on the channel, they focus on numbers like followers and likes and retweets and rather than looking at it as a channel for engagement, a channel to drive people to your content where you can actually measure ROI. So I think it's just a mindset that needs to change in terms of how you view what social does.
Do you think that will ever happen, Dave? I sometimes think it won't.
It's taken longer than I expected it would, but I think I'm optimistic. Eventually,
yeah.
People will get there.
Well, I mean, you know, I have this conversation on such a regular basis that it becomes kind of frustrating sometimes. And I would think that, you know, on the top of that list should have been the content. because the content is the key to the whole thing. And, you know, the question about what the numbers mean is not easily explained by the reports that you get. I mean, it's just, some of it is not that simple to understand, but engagement is pretty simple to understand.
Yeah.
So we will be back next week. That brings us to the end of episode 78 of the Beyond Social Media show. And I have to say, I missed you guys while we were gone. And so we'll be back next Saturday, same time, same station. And you can find the show time-stamped. The video will be time-stamped, and the playlist will be posted on our blog, which is the BeyondSocialMediaShow.com. And it will be there before the end of the weekend. And you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Google Plus, of course. And you can find Dave at eStrategyBlog.com. He's D. Erickson on Twitter. He, of course, is on Google Plus and on LinkedIn and on eStrategy TV and everywhere else you can imagine on the web. This guy is a content machine. And I am on Twitter as @What'sNext. I am on Google Plus. I am blogging at what'snextblog.com and pawfun.com and YouTube and here. And so thank you so much for watching, and Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for watching.